one. Welcome to Discussions with Dazarin. Obviously, I am Dazarin. Joined with me today is Karma. Karma,
Hi.
coming off of her incredible qualification into the RLCS. Jamie is so glad to have you on the show. It was so funny too because before we were always trying to get you on here, or there was always like a talk about it, and then you were like, just wait till I qualify for RLCS, and
Yep.
you know, just give me on easy. So obviously that confidence paid off for you guys, and you all pulled out an incredible win. And I'm just so happy that you are here today with me on the show. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, confidence is key.
Exactly.
I'm way overconfident. It's fine. It works. It works out sometimes.
Yeah, but just like getting into it, obviously a big win for you guys. 4-0 sweep against Rogue to qualify into the RLCS. And I mean, just kind of describe to me like your journey up to this point and like that milestone.
Oh boy. How far back am I going?
Oh man, how far back do you want to go? Because you've been in here for a long time. Let's just start like Let's start. I want to say back with Freestylers in Disguise. Let's go from there.
Freestylers? Okay, so that team was me, Sassy, and Nomad. And Jimmer was our coach, manager. That was season 3. So that was after I was on Vendetta in RLCS. I'd subbed for a series against Kings of Urban in RLCS, and then I got benched from Matt. Although it wasn't, I don't know if you could say it was benched. Like, it was like we were trying out positions because Lathamir was on the team, and then he had been moved to a sub spot, and they were trying out me and Matt, and they couldn't really decide, so they just decided to go with me for 1 week, and then they were going to go with Matt the next. But I thought Matt was better, so we came to the consensus at the time that Matt should just play, even though it sucked for me to say that. I thought that they were better with Matt. Then following season I was in Freestylers, and we made it to the final match versus, at the time it was called Atelier, I think, or Atelier.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was like Atelier. It was like it was the roster that would become Rogue, actually, right?
Yeah, it was the roster that became Rogue, but at the time they weren't Rogue. And they beat us in game 5, I think. I think, if I remember it. It was game 5 or game 4, one of the two. And so we were 1 series away, and we lost that one. I think that was the loser final. I think we lost earlier to...
You're going to make me pull up this bracket.
It doesn't matter. Basically, we were 1 series away. That's all that matters. Then season 4 came around, and that was the season that I was with Pluto, I think.
Yeah, like kind of like when you guys at first got picked up.
Yeah, so then Splyce signed me after that season as a streamer. Then they ended up signing me as a player when I made MBC. I was on a team with Pluto and Hot Wheels Sid. That kind of was like a shambles team. Like, I was told really last minute that I was going to be on the team because I originally was going to be with Prime Thunder and Wonder on Ambition. But Splyce were like, no, we don't want you to leave. And Ambition wouldn't sell Prime and Wonder to Splyce, and Splyce wouldn't sell me to them. So originally it was going to be me, Wonder, and Prime Thunder, but that ended up not happening because of contracts. So then Pluto and I wanted to stay together, and we were trying out a bunch of people, and none of them ended up working out. And then last minute we had to sign somebody, and Sid was the only one available, so we picked Sid. We ended up being okay. It just wasn't... We weren't like the best clicking team. We didn't have super synergy. And then what ended up happening was we ended up playing Incognito, which I did not want to play. That was J-Wiz's team at the time. I said, if we just avoid Incognito, we'll be fine. We got them in the second round. We lost. And then we got to the lowers, and we got beat by what ended up being... I don't know their name. Naventic? Naventic. Yeah, I almost said Juventus.
Juventus.
The soccer team. No, it was Naventic. And Naventic was the ones that got DQ'd because they had players that they were using that weren't on the roster and that whole shebang.
Yeah.
Then the season after, I picked up Noah's and Jaywa's, and we had a horrible season. And everyone expected us to be this really good team, and we were for sometimes, and then sometimes we were terrible. And then the season after, we stayed together because I knew that we would be good. We just had to put in the time. And then we ended up winning this season. So, pretty good.
Yeah.
Finally.
Pretty good.
It's
right?
a long road that's summed up in like, there's so many more into details I could go about the seasons and the teams I've almost been on and all of these things, but that's where we ended up being.
Okay, so just to like touch on those like that really quickly, has there ever been like an RLCS team that you were just like almost on, but like it just didn't fall off? Just like you would have had a pathway straight into there?
Yeah, there were 2 teams that wanted to sign me. Both times Splyce said no.
Dang.
They wouldn't let me leave, so. There were 2 teams that could have been signing. I'd rather not say who, but yeah, 2 teams tried to sign me, and Splyce wouldn't let me leave.
Okay. So.
And it's also I didn't know if I wanted to go or not. Because one of the times Splyce let me try out, and I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to leave, because I thought that me, Jaywa's, and Noah's had a lot of potential. And then the second time, I didn't even get to try out, and I didn't think I was going to leave anyway. And the same thing was me, Jaywa's, and Noah's too. And I didn't really want to leave those 2. It would have taken a lot, and I didn't see myself leaving them. But you know, you never want to really cross out options. You want to try everything that you can.
Right.
When you're in a position to get into the RLCS, because it's so valuable to be in there. That once you're in there, it's a really big deal, and it's a really big career move.
Yeah.
But I knew in the back of my head it would take something tremendously good in order for me to leave Jaywa's and Noah's, because I've said this before, but they're more than teammates to me. They're like basically my family. I respect them a lot. I have a great relationship with both of them. I think they're both really talented players. So, yeah, it was going to take me a lot. It was going to take a lot for me to leave them. And I realistically didn't see myself leaving either time.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. You talk about just like being in the RLCS and how you say that like it is a big career move. It's kind of funny though, because like, and this doesn't really have too much to do with what we're talking about, but it's just like it's a big career move in a sense of like, I guess, like player politics. But like at the same time, there's also like it has their own drama with like their own like org situations, like the whole We Dem Girl situation basically. So it's kind of like it's still up and down, and the league is right now, I guess it's in a weird spot, right? Because you're an RLCS team, you know you're a good team, and once you actually get inside the league, then a bunch of opportunities open up. But at the same time, there's like teams like Bread who just qualified, who are going to be looking for an org, and they're going to have to deal with that basically like new drama coming in, and then teams like We Dem Girls who still haven't been signed. So we're in a weird little like spot right now.
Yeah, that was another huge issue for me. I didn't want to leave Splyce. Splyce are such a great organization, and I'm not just saying that because I'm their player, but just through and through, from the ownership down, I really enjoy working with them, and they also the first ones to like believe in me. They signed me when I wasn't even in RLRS. So they just signed me because they knew me from Hearthstone partially, and because they believed in my work ethic and me as a player and as a person. So I didn't really want to leave them either. But yeah, the work situation right now is really bizarre. I think a lot of it has to do with like storylines and player social media popularity. Like a lot of these players don't really do much to help themselves in terms of sponsors and stuff like that. And I think that ends up hurting in the long run. Like they just expect, because they're in RLCS, to be signed by a team. When I think it should really be the other way around. I think that they should be building themselves in order to want to be signed before they get an RLCS. And not that that's like automatically going to happen, but I think a lot of these like players don't realize what brand building means in esports. So I think that that's a huge issue for brands coming in when you have a scene like this in Rocket League where there's no rev share yet, there's no skins, there's no marketing in terms of, well, the only advantageous thing an org gets is publicity or marketing from your team that's playing. But other than that, there's like, if you sign a team that has no social media following and 3 players who don't really know, like they're not really worth too much from an org standpoint. So I think a lot of players kind of need to step up their value, to learn how to build their brand more so that they can bring more value to an org other than just playing in RLCS.
Yeah, that's definitely a difference maker, because then the org like can again advertise the player as, you know, as their own, like, I guess, brand, so to speak, and they can start to, you know, promote them, and the player, obviously their fan base will start to increase because they'll get more exposure from the org. And I mean, it's just simple things too, where it's just like streaming. Like, just streaming. You don't have to have like face cam on or anything like that. Like, you guys could all just queue up for like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours and just play the game, basically. Chat around and interact with chat. But a lot of players don't want to do that. And they don't necessarily see how advantageous it is. I mean, you look at players like Kronovi and Rizzo, who, again, they aren't even, they're not coming back to E-League, but, and the roster has been pretty up and down in the past like 2 seasons. But despite that, and despite them, and despite like how the roster has been in the overall grand scheme of things, they signed a multi-year contract with G2 because G2 understands how valuable all those players are, and it doesn't have everything to do with their skill. It just has to do with how well they kind of present themselves and how they've been able to build their brand. So you make a great point, and
they have more reach than just being players on the Rocket League stream.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one of the difference makers, because at the end of the day, it's just like, once you stop playing, then what do you have left? And like,
exactly.
You want to be able to build that community. So
yeah, sure.
I feel it. But speaking of, you are obviously the sole streamer. I haven't seen Jay with stream at all. So if he's watching, he needs to.
He gets in there sometimes.
Oh yeah. He participates in your stream, or like the Splyce streams overall, which I
no, he streamed a few times himself. It's very rare.
Yeah,
but he does.
I gotta keep an eye out. Trevor used to stream. He's in chat right now, but his streams are super toxic.
Trevor does sometimes too.
I always like to give Trevor shit, because he's like, his streams are either super toxic. He's always doing that lean in his chair. Like, I don't know if you. I
know he leans.
Yeah, he leans hella so far forward. Hey, I remember one time we were giving him crap for like leaning up forward in his chair. He's like, I'm gonna try to play with proper posture, and he like gives up like 2 goals. And he's like, fuck this.
No, we were staying at a LAN one time, and we were in some house in Michigan. We were playing on the couch or something, and I sit back when I play, and he leans forward. And we were trying to play like dual screen. I couldn't see because I was leaning back, and he was next to me. He was leaning so far forward, he was blocking the screen that I had to sit up. It was so bad. But Trevor has a dog, like the cutest dog ever, so he could easily just farm viewers with that. I don't understand what he's doing.
Yeah. I don't know either. He has to get on that Bills, bro. Maybe it's the Canadian internet or something like that. We gotta figure it out.
Could be.
Or maybe he just gets tilted. It has to be something. I like, Trevor, you got to give us the secret. Why don't you stream?
Trevor's never been tilted in his life. Really? I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah. Never tilts.
Just the calmest player on this team.
Yeah.
In-game leader.
He keeps us all level-headed.
I could totally tell. Game drops my FPS, so you just need to upgrade your computer. So yeah, just kind of talk about your relationship with your teammates though. Like, obviously you guys have been together for a long time, and you've been through your own level of ups and downs. So like, how has that relationship grown from just being around each other so much?
Well, I have a great relationship with Jimmer. I've known him for years and years. Feels like I've known Jimmer since like half 2 seasons in the Rocket League. So he and I have always gotten along. He's a really good friend of mine. I stayed with him during season 3 LAN when I did analyst work
Oh yeah, I remember that.
in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed with him and his wife in a hotel. He was really nice. Let me stay for, I think, like, I misbooked the rooms or something, and he let me stay there for a night with them, which is really sweet of him. On the couch. It was uncomfortable, but
You
you
had
know.
a party in his room. I was
Yeah, we
with
had
him.
so many people in there.
I was,
Yeah.
We went because that night you did that. Me and Jimmer went out, and me and Jimmer missed.
I invited a bunch of players
yeah,
back.
Yeah. We were out to dinner, and then he's like looking at his phone, and he's like,
yeah, Karma's throwing a party in my room.
Karma's throwing a party
my
in my
bad.
room. He's like, oh, I gotta go to the store and pick up some stuff.
Yep, I asked him to bring alcohol back for all of us, like a 5-year-old. Well, that's a little young, but like 18-year-old. I was like, yo, Jim, I have like 7 guys with me. Can you get me some alcohol or something? It was funny.
Oh man.
I think it was me, Mystic, Snazky, Sicky,
oh, damn.
Panda. I forget who else. Pro, maybe? I forget who.
Yeah. I remember he told us, but it didn't matter. But still, yeah, you had a whole party. Like, and I think, whatever happened? I remember Mrs. Jimmer telling me about it, but it was still just like a super funny experience. Like
Yeah,
being with them when they heard about it.
There.
Being with them about it, it was hilarious. But yeah, no, just going back, that man is an angel. He is an angel, and he absolutely.
Yeah, both of them are the best.
They really are, and
yeah.
He's a great coach for that team. Like, it's just like I see him coaching. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Jimmer's coaching.
Yeah, he's the best. He's awesome. And then Jake and I get along super well. Jake's like, I don't know how to describe Jake. He's like one of these kids that's just like always happy. Like, we could be getting slapped 7-0. And he's like, nice try on like a pass where Trevor just slams it like 10 feet away from him, right? And Jake's like, nice try. Good try. And he's like always like has a positive attitude. He's just so sweet. Such a sweet kid. And he's so funny. And he doesn't even mean to be funny. He's like, I don't even know how to explain it. Some of the things he says are just like, he's so innocent. He doesn't realize what he's saying is just like a huge like meme. I don't know. And then Trevor is like the opposite of Jake, where Trevor's like super negative and like they're very polar opposite in terms of personality. Like when Jake gets happy like that, Trevor gets pissed. Like because Trevor sees it as like antagonistic, that Jake is like, oh, good try, and Trevor's like, no, it was fucking garbage. That wasn't a good try. And then you have me in the middle who's just like dying laughing, trying to keep everyone like a level-headed individuals. So usually what I end up doing is just laughing, and then Trevor ends up laughing, and Jake ends up laughing, and we end up being fine. But like Trevor's a really good teammate as well. He's like sarcastically negative. He isn't. I mean, he's kind of actually negative, but when we're actually trying and we're serious, he's not. He isn't like joking around being negative Nancy all the time. He has a really good sense of humor that goes along with me and Jake. We just kind of like joke around with each other. Trevor and I kind of have this like nihilistic, like kind of negative sense of humor, which we get along really well with. And we just gel. Like us three just kind of fit really well personality-wise. We just all kind of offer different elements to a team. But sometimes it can get too goofy, and then we end up playing terrible when we're laughing too much or joking around too much, and things get a little out of hand. So,
yeah, I know people have definitely seen that when you guys stream your qualifier runs.
Yeah.
And like you got the whole voice comms on, and you know you're blowing out kids like 10-2 or 10-0, and then you guys start laughing, you let in a goal, and you're like, oop, or something like that, like.
Yep.
People have seen like little bits of that here and there, and obviously from my perspective, Oh, we're never streaming tourneys again. For my
Is that Trevor saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like being around all four of you actually from just our various encounters, you could definitely see like the liveliness of the relationship there. Like you.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are like a little like mini 4-person family. It's great.
Yeah, we are. We have disagreements, but usually I end up kind of bringing us together because, like, I think disagreements are good to have on a team. If you all understand that when you're disagreeing, it's not a personal attack. It's more caring too much. On my previous teams, I felt a little bit guilty because I felt like I was maybe too hard on my teammates. And being from Boston, I'm harsh with my language. I don't really sugarcoat anything. And the only way that I know how to get a point across is to be overtly negative, because that's just like how it is around here. I've kind of come to realize that sometimes I was just too harsh with former teammates, and I don't mean to come across that way. The reason that I get harsh like that is because I care a lot about them, and I think that they have a lot of potential, and I want to see them succeed. So when I point out like a flaw or a mistake, I didn't want it to seem personal. So that's something that I've personally been working on as like this captain role, is trying not to be
insensitive.
I don't know what the word is. Yeah, I guess insensitive, but and I've tried to talk to former, like I talk to them now. They don't think that I'm like that. I think maybe I'm just sensitive about that, but I think in my former teams, I may have been a bit too harsh with how I tried to explain things, because when I have teammates, like I really respect the fact that they team with me. It's not easy to team with a female. And I understand that when they team with me. So I really respect the people that have teamed with me and given me a chance. And sometimes, you know, when I point things out in replays or I watch replays and I write down notes of like, oh, this should have been different, or why are we doing this, or something like that. I think I've come across insensitive at times. I had never meant to be. It was only out of like caring too much. Because I'm even worse on myself. It's just that isn't put out in text because it's all in my head, and I'm way too hard on myself. And it's like, I can understand I shouldn't be as hard on other people, so I've tried to work on that a little bit.
Why do you think it's hard for people to team with you, like being a female? Like why does that make it difficult for them to team with you?
Well, I know that they get shit for it.
Really?
I see what people say. Oh yeah. I get screenshots of things people draw of me or type of me or write about me. I've heard from my teammates about like things people say about teaming with me, jokes or memes that get passed around with like pictures I take with them. And just overall, like, I don't know, teaming with a female is probably difficult. So it's not easy on somebody. Like, people are going to talk. People are going to make jokes. People are going to, you know, say immature things, especially when you're on a team with a girl. Sometimes, like, I can get all the attention, which is not really something that I'm asking for. It's just kind of there because I'm different. So it's easy for a storyline to grab onto or fans to grab onto. So if we win, maybe I get all the attention, or if we lose, I get all the blame, or like those types of things that come with being on a team with a female. So like, for the fact that people take all that into account and still want to play with me and respect me enough as a person, as a player, to just put that to the side and just stay and team with me anyway, I will always respect that of them because I know how difficult it is.
Right.
I know what people say. I know what goes around. I know what's said about me, even though I act like I don't, because it's one of those things where if I act like I do know what people say, then I'm in trouble. And if I act like I don't know what people say, then I'm just as bad. So I just remain neutral on all of it.
That's fair. And that kind of makes sense, because I know, like, or like, I feel like you don't necessarily want to like move towards that storyline, because you hear it so often, right? Just about you being a female player, you would just rather focus just on being like an individual player, so to speak.
Yes.
So that, like, knowing that and knowing kind of like that background, it makes more sense. Man, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I just never talk about.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for me to bring it up because again, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. So it's better for me to just take it on the chin and just move on. Um so it's just a bunch of things that I see, a bunch of things that I hear, and I just kind of let it go.
Mm. That makes sense. I mean, obviously for me that makes sense. We're both oddly so, and we've made this joke countless amount of times, just like how we're both kind of like minorities in Rocket League scene, if that makes sense, or just in esports
Yep.
in general. So
Mm-hmm.
coming from my perspective, it's not the same. Definitely not the same. But
Similarities though.
yeah, here and there, here and there. So I understand exactly where you're coming from with that one. But I
Mm.
mean, despite that, like you still have proved yourself as a player. Your teammates, everyone around you or in your team environment, it's all just basically gotten better, gotten together, leveled up, and you guys have developed a very strong relationship, and that goes in and out the game. And that's something
Mm-hmm.
that's good to see. Like we always
Yeah.
see like a different, like bunch of different roster moves and players who play together because it's good, but not necessarily because they get along. But developing that
Yeah.
team chemistry and like being with the team so long and going through the highs and lows is like something that's always fantastic to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I'm uh better friends with my teammates outside of the team, which is weird. Like, even if we weren't teammates, I'd still consider them really good friends and talk to them all the time and play games and stuff like that. I think that that's also really good when you're in a team environment is to be friends with them outside the game just as much. Like, we want to go to Disney World in a few months during the winter to
Ooh.
celebrate. So that's an example. Like, we all four of us are just gonna go and hang out and just take like trips outside Rocket League and just enjoy our time together.
That's actually gonna be dope.
Yeah.
I went earlier this year for the first time, and I was like, "This is dope." I'm gonna
Oh
tell
yeah, I
you,
know you went.
yeah. Go to the fireworks. Just go see the fireworks. They made me cry. They might not make you cry because everyone on that team is tougher than I am, but they made me cry. And I recommend fireworks show to anyone going to Disney World because it's
Well,
fantastic. End of the
the
day.
one problem is Trevor's adamant that he's not leaving. But I told him he was kicked if he didn't come, so he's
Okay.
got two options. He's kicked or he goes to Disney World.
He's definitely going to Disney World.
Yeah, probably.
He just.
I hope so, or else we're gonna have to find a third. That would suck.
Oof.
Although we have Dapper, so it's not really a problem.
All right. Is he still is he doing anything? Like is he still just gonna sub for you guys or is that like something that's like in the works or whatever?
Dap?
Yeah, like do you know his like
I do
situation?
not see Dapper staying with us.
Yeah.
I see him yoinking one of the RLCS spots or RLRS spots. He's super talented. Um, I wish we had I wish that we had time to convince him to stay, but he is too good, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people this season were like, "Yo, why isn't Dapper playing?" Or like, "Why wouldn't you play Dapper? He's in the RLCS. Are you guys crazy?" And it was just, we just had a team system. Dapper showed up with like 2 weeks to go. We didn't even know that his team wasn't going to be a team anymore. And he's just way too talented to stay sub. I don't see it happening.
All right. The whole kick nose dude memes going around. That was crazy. But no, Dapper
Hey, it's in his hands. It's not in my hands.
that's true.
He knows. He's either going to Disney World or he's kicked.
Start Dap on bread. Lol. But yeah, he's a good player. But
I should pull up your chat.
yeah, that would help because everyone's chatting in there. We got Safi, World Diz, knows.
Ah, Sathy's here. Poggers.
Yeah.
Oh, Roll Diz too. Hell yeah. I saw Roll Diz is in the uniform on Twitter. I was hyped. I didn't know he was in uniform.
Really?
That's hot as fuck, yeah. Dude.
We gotta peep that. We gotta peep that.
Yeah, we do.
Oh man. So oh, okay. So again, we talked about the highs and lows. Let's get into some of the lows here. So has there ever been a point where you like have actually thought about like not playing? I see it on Twitter all the time. I see these players, especially like in the bubble scene, to where they just really don't like they get really discouraged. Usually it happens like in the off season or right after quals or something like that. But have you ever been to that point?
Uh, I probably would have been at that point if Splyce weren't around. Um, since being on Splyce, no. Before Splyce, yes. Because, again, I hate to bring up the whole girl thing, but it is a factor. So I'm not going to act like it's not a factor, because it absolutely is a factor for finding a team.
Right.
Going, after the season, we didn't qualify, right? Which people could have said, you know, it was me, I'm washed or whatever. I'm not a good player anymore. And even when I was at the top of my game, so to speak, or a high, what some people consider a high tier free agent coming out of RLCS or coming out of a team that just missed qualifying, even then it was never easy to find a team. So, even when I've been in better positions, it was still a hard time to find a team because of social dynamics or whatever the heck's going on. I don't know. Maybe I was just trash and I was way over-evaluating myself. That's also a possibility. If Splyce wasn't there, I don't know where I would be, because Splyce helped me have a platform to entice people in. Because it was like, hey, you want to play with me? We can get paid. This is legit. It allowed me to get maybe more tryouts with people than would have if I didn't have an org, which is kind of a sad thing, but also, like, I didn't really care, because I knew that if I got a team with people I liked, I could prove myself. So it was just kind of a way to exist and, like, give myself an opportunity. Yeah. And if it wasn't for Splyce, I probably would be a caster. So.
Yeah. Thank you for Splyce.
In season 3, I was kind of deciding, do I want to be a caster or do I want to still be a player? And I was like, nah, I can't be a player. I mean, I can't be a caster. I think I have way too much to prove as a player. Like, I still feel like I have a lot to show. So I just said no to casting. Yeah. Did this instead.
Yeah, thank you, Splyce, because now there's a possibility for me to get a job. No, I'm kidding. But no, you were on that season 3, Destiny. You did a great job. I know, just from sitting like around the players watching, and even the people at home were just like, you were killing it, which is very good to say. And even from some of the feedback I've heard, it's been a lot better than other players. I wasn't paying attention when Jacob and Sis were on the desk, but they did not get good feedback. You did.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't see them on the desk either. Coaching was also another possibility for me down the line, but coaching really wasn't a paid position then. But I've always been like that one who, like, I coach teams on the side, mainly European teams. Some of the top European teams I've coached with, so I could have done that as well. I have a lot of, like, interests in the scene. Like, I wouldn't have left. I just would have stopped playing because it would have been too hard to find opportunities, in my opinion. So there was a time where I was like, maybe gonna stop. But I mean, I don't know. Looking back, like, it's just so hard to say, like, I'm done. You know?
Right.
I've wanted to be in RLCS since the day I started playing this game. And then I personally felt like I was at that level. I could easily compete at that level. I just needed to find a team who would accept me and let me learn over time. And because I'm more team oriented, I'm not really individually, like, I'm not like Jwiz is, like, where Jwiz can individually just score goals. I'm not really that type of player. I'm more that type of player now, but back then and still now, I consider myself more of a team player. I do a lot of the things I would consider that don't really show up on stat sheets. Like, I set my team up for things that are really productive instead of negative. I'm more of a passer. I'm more of like a point guard because that's what I played in basketball. I'm not really that like Kobe Bryant. I'm kind of like Rondo, where I just passed everyone. Yeah,
I feel it.
Basketball references.
Oh man, but no, in that space of transition, right, where you're making that decision and you get picked up by Splyce, that essentially basically puts the ball in your court. You know what I mean? Just like having an org in your back pocket is something that's so valuable now, especially now in the RL scene. Like, if any player, I won't say any player, gets picked up by like an org as a streamer or anything like that, but like if a new org comes in and, like, let's say like Liquid signs, who would Liquid sign? Who's like if Liquid signed Dapper as a streamer, and then Dapper he has everybody essentially kind of coming to him now, because if they want to build a team around him or do something similar than it is to you, then that's an org spot for a team that doesn't mind being in the rival series and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And so like that's a very valuable I guess like trump card to have, and regardless of that fact, your teammates still came to you because you were a good player, because they believed in you, and it worked out very well. But
maybe, I mean, I'll never know. Whether like it's hard to say, because like when I had Splyce, even then it was hard to convince people. A lot of people didn't really care, and they'd choose like, they'd try out with other people over it, even though they didn't have an org and stuff like that. So I like to think that my teammates did a bit of both, but you'd have to ask them, and who knows what they'd say. I mean, Jake had been wanting to team with me for a while. Trevor and I kind of met at Season 4 LAN? Washington? Was that 4? I think that was 4.
Yeah.
And we talked about it there briefly.
Oh.
And things ended up working out because of DreamHack, because Sathu got to play with us. But then Sathu ended up not being able to play more because of internet at his school. So he needed to take a season off. And we were going to try out JWiz with Sathu anyway. So it ended up all working out for the best, because Sathu ended up finding a good team, which is good.
Right.
I like to see him succeed.
Yeah, and again, when both of you guys ended up qualifying, that was great. That was a good moment, because like
Yeah.
You guys that came from being on the same team together, and then you guys still ended up finding your way all at the same, in the same place, so to speak. So that's why I was
messaging him at the time. I was like, dude, we're on different teams, but we both made it. This is crazy.
Right. And I'm over here just cheering everybody on behind my chair, like, oh, they made it. 4-0 sweep. Oh, let's go. Then Sathu, I'm like, let's get this. Oh, man. I made so many Brett memes. Sathu, I see you in the chat. If I didn't go to if I didn't work overnights and I could like actually would have woken up in time for your guys' like matches, and not slept and woken up as soon as the stream started, I was gonna make a meme. I was gonna go to the grocery store and talk about make a meme talk about which team are you gonna root for today, and just put stacks and like loaves and loaves of bread in a shopping cart and just run off. I had it all planned out, but I was too tired. I couldn't do it.
Bread is selling out now, though. They're not true memesters.
I know.
They're selling out for an org.
Right.
If they were true memesters, they wouldn't be selling out. So it's a bit disappointing,
And before like Sathu becomes like the next Nate Shot and makes bread like an actual esports org. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be amazing. That's my dream. I want to start my own org one day.
Yeah. All right. Oh man. But again, you have like these players on your team, right? Players even like Sathu, who aren't on your team, who you kind of still consider like good friends. And the relationship with your team is developed, like I said earlier, second family. But how have your actual friends and family been in terms of your Rocket League career? Like, how have they supported you, or have they supported you?
My mom and my Nana supported me always. A little backstory is I live with my grandmother and my mom. I help take care of my nan. She's kind of raised me since I was a kid. And as she's gotten older, I've decided to be around and help her as well. Instead of leaving, because I'm 25, so I'm older, and living at home. When I tell people I live with my grandma, my mom, the people are kind of like, "Oh, really? You're 25?" It's like, yeah. I mean, I want to live with my family. I really enjoy it, and I really care about my Nana a lot and help her out. And she's always supported me no matter what I'm doing. Like it was basketball or school, even though I hated school, and she would always help me out no matter what. My mom kind of supported me unsupportingly. So like my mom allowed me to stay home and pursue Hearthstone as long as I was making money. And even though she didn't really believe in it, she didn't really think that it was like going to lead to anything. She didn't understand what I was doing, but I told her just to trust me and to let me stream and not go to school. So as long as I was paying her high rent, she was fine with it because it was just showing her that I earned money. So as long as I was doing that, she was okay. But then once I showed her that I was on the desk, and then I was on NBC, and then I was on RLRS, her mind has completely changed on it, where now she's like super into it. She's telling her friends about it, and like now she's like this proud mom. Because my dream has been to make LAN and to have my nan and my mom go and watch. That's like my ultimate goal, is to do that. So we're one step closer to that, which would be great. So their support has been my nan's from the beginning. My mom has been there from the beginning, but her mindset wasn't quite there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
And then my dad still doesn't really get it. I don't think he'll ever really get it. He's kind of been supportive, not really. He doesn't live here. He lives in a different house a few minutes down the road. But he really doesn't understand it. So it's you know, it took some convincing, but they're behind me now, I would say.
No, yeah, I definitely understand that. It from my perspective, just like it was weird, right? Being a just being a black kid in Chicago and growing up there, my mom like turned me towards. Well, I kind of turned myself toward gaming, but my mom was okay with it because I wasn't in the streets. And then
yeah, I imagine.
All right, and then after that, like didn't go straight to college after high school. Still haven't gone to college. And it was a lot of like, what are you gonna do type thing. And again, casting started for me. It was just a hobby. It still is a hobby, but
for now,
yeah. And doing that, it was. I would tell her I was going out of town, and it was like, well, are you doing this? Like, what, are they paying you? Like, da, 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 da. Sometimes I had to lie. Like when I had to cast at the BYOC at DreamHack, I lied to her. I was like, yeah, they're sending me out. Da, da, da. I spent all my money going out there, but I had to make sacrifices just so I could, get opportunities that I've been getting today. And now like it all came in. Was flying like every month I was going somewhere, and then I was also coming back and I was giving her like a little chunk of change that I got, and it started getting like more and more like realistic for her, so where she kept like supporting me. And no, like although they did that ESPN preview article for the World Championship, and the guy reached out to me to get like an opinion on it. I have a small block that's not even a paragraph. I feel like it's like maybe 2 or 3 sentences, but send it. It's like being able to send that to people. Like everyone blew up. My mom blew up. She was like, "What?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Oh,
it's a big deal.
You're an ESPN? What?" I was like, "Yeah, Mom, yeah." I was like, it's just a little paragraph.
Hell
like
yeah,
sentences,
hell yeah, dude.
You're like, "Holy!" Like mind blown. My real life friends are like, "Yo, what, bro?" Da 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 da. And it's just like those things help really convince you, like, or help convince the people in your life who don't understand what's going on. Like, yes, I'm going here.
NBC was huge for me. Just being on TV or whatever. That was a huge deal. Like, it's a small tournament to us, right? Like a little qualifier in Chicago. We're like, whatever. And then it's like a huge deal to my family when to me it's not really that big of a deal. But like those types of little things are huge. Videotaped interviews, anything you can show them that's easy for them to see, that looks produced and like professional and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then they that helps build that support, right? And once you get that, then it's easier for them to like actually support you because they see that this is like so much bigger in the grand scheme of things. Like that's crazy too, though, right? It's just like, to us, like you said, little tournament. To me, little paragraph. But to other people who like haven't really been in it, it's just like such a big deal. And that's,
well, it is a big deal. We just micro Like we
That's true.
minimize it.
That's definitely true. I can see
Hmm.
that because it's just like we try not to think about it too much. You just gotta we're still
It's just in the
grinding.
grind. Yeah, it's
Yep,
just part of the grind. Yeah.
just still grinding. I'm glad that you're able to like convince your family and build that support because that is something that I know players have struggled with before. Like for Joro, like he is slash was in the RLCS, but like getting up to that point was such a challenge for him because he didn't have that family support and he really had to work on that in his perspective. So like it's not always easy for those who are
Mm.
watching like to get that family support. It's not that easy. There are a lot of people who just won't get like don't have the tools or don't have that situation that works out in their favor for them. So that's why it's just like such a big deal, and that's why we're highlighting it because these people have no idea the stuff that goes on in the Rocket League scene, in the esports scene, on a day-to-day basis, and that's why like when
Yeah.
it comes into their real life, then that's when they see, oh, okay, this isn't just a game. It's not just a game, you know?
No, it's career.
Yeah.
Really is. Really is a career.
And now you have a chance. You have a chance to do like something incredible. I know I told you about it like earlier when you guys are first qualified, but yeah, you'll be going in the RLCS. You have a chance to qualify for like you have a chance to win the world championship. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Like
That feels amazing.
once you guys won, because I know like you guys got an instant welcoming party as soon as you guys won. I wasn't there, but like
Yeah.
yeah, like you gotta give me like inside those comms or like how things were going. Like how was it like knowing that once you guys had secured the win?
So our comms that whole weekend were perfect. Jake talked more than he ever talked. Trevor was talking more than he ever talked. I probably was talking more than my most talkative self. Like usually I'm the in-game leader, whatever you want to call it, where I'm calming a lot. I'm saying like Jay was turn, I'm all the way back. Trevor turn, I'm all the way back, or I'm going forward, Trevor be behind me, or like I'm calming a lot. Um, I calm where I hit the ball. I calm if I'm going to the ball. I calm where the ball's going. Like I talk probably too much. Trevor's usually more quiet. He does calm, just he's not as excessive, and then Jake's kind of in the middle. But everyone, I kind of didn't talk as much because they were talking more, so I didn't need to say as much, and it was just really relaxing for me. And then once I kept telling our team, like, as soon as we win one game, they're done. Because you can't let us win one game. Because if we win one game, you're done. Like, we were in that mode that weekend where if we won once, we were going to win for sure. So once we won that one game against Allegiance, which we threw hard, we were up game one with 8 seconds left or something, and we threw. I like got caught off of a bump in the net, and I went to go get out, and I got hit again, and I like flew off the post and got beat. And then someone got beat on the wall, and then Jay was made a really nice play that somehow didn't save it. We threw that game one, and then somehow they didn't finish it. I don't know what happened on that final goal. We got really lucky that they ended up not punishing us in overtime. And that was a huge deal. I think if we were to have lost that game one, it would have been a bit more rough, but we definitely shouldn't have lost that game. So then comms were great. We were like rolling people. And then towards the end of the game and against the Rogue series, we're up 1-0, and there's like, I think like 50 seconds left, and Trevor had an open net, and he commed that he missed. But it didn't get cleared, and it went in anyway. So I think all of us were like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. 50 seconds, boys. Keep comms up. Like, I was trying to calm everyone down because you're up 2 goals with 50 seconds left, and when you're up 2, it's like inevitable that you should not lose. And or no, it wasn't 50 seconds. I think it was like 10. Now that I think of it, I think it was 10. Because I remember actually after he scored the second goal, I just started crying, even though the game wasn't over yet. I just started like tearing up, and I was trying not. I muted my mic because I didn't want to like make the stupid crying noise. And And I felt like a baby. Like, oh my god,
Like,
Jamie.
no.
Yeah, because like last time when we were beating Lights Out in the qualifier game, I was crying like crazy, and there was way too much time left. And Trevor was like, "Karma, stop crying. There's 20 seconds left." But we were up by like 3 goals, so I like couldn't help it. And towards the end of that game, I was doing the same thing, but I wasn't as bad. The Lights Out one was really bad because I felt like our career was on the line in that series. Or at least mine was. Maybe not theirs. Because if we failed to qualify again for RLRS, then I thought it would be a huge deal. For me personally, I was like, my dream was on the line, that series, blah, blah. In this one, there wasn't as much pressure. Like, I felt like going into the weekend, we were going to win, no matter who we played. I felt really confident that we were going to make RLCS as long as we made top 2. But then finally making it was just kind of ecstatic. I kept saying I can't believe it because it still really hasn't set in yet that I'm in RLCS. I don't know. It's just kind of like I've never been in RLCS, so it's a weird feeling. I don't really know what it's like, and we don't have any events right now, and it's just kind of like this limbo area where it's, yeah, we're in it, but it doesn't really feel like it right now.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting little like place to be at, especially because you can't play in the Renegade. Well, so what is up with that? Now that you guys have qualified, like, are you guys still going? Like, are you still able to play in the Renegade Cup finals?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Yep. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you guys can't play in any of the other ones now because you've already qualified. So it's also like,
yeah, we should have we misplayed it. We should have got second in every tournament.
Yeah, feels bad.
Bad. It was a misplay. That's okay.
I have to bring up my show matches and have you guys do show matches against like some RLCS teams. I'll have you guys play FlyQuest so they can rage quit at the end. Oops. But like, so is anything changing? Is anything getting like becoming different? Like in terms of like,
I've heard that there's changes. I don't know what it is or what's happening.
No. I mean, I've heard that there are changes too. I mean, in terms of your team and how you guys are approaching the game and practicing and doing this, that, and the other thing.
Oh. Well, we all have things that we're working on the off season. We've identified like weaknesses in our individual game that we're all trying to fix. It's hard to find scrims. Like, who are we supposed to scrim in the off season, you know? Like, we like to scrim 3 hours a day, usually. 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day if we can. And it's impossible to find scrims now when not all of the teams are playing, which is hurtful to me as a player. I really enjoy scrimming. I think that is what improves me the most and keeps me the most consistent in terms of my speed and my decision making and stuff like that. But this happens every off season, where the off season happens, scrims basically stop. I turn into a streamer and ranked player, where I work on my individual stuff. I go for flip resets and like difficult mechanical stuff for like 3 months, and then the season comes back, and it's like a learning process where I have my mechanics, but I have to learn how to play as a team again. It takes like a week or 2 of just practicing with each other, and then we're back. So. Yeah, Sathy says in chat that there's E-League teams, which there are. We'll probably be scrimming a few this week, but even so, they're only here till Wednesday, and it's only 2 days, and then we don't know when the next event is. So after E-League, we don't know when the next thing is right now, so we're just kind of eagerly awaiting an announcement or something.
All right, yeah. That wait is real, but there should be, because we're now in the off season. Basically, there's E-League, but there has to be something else on the horizon. I personally am in the dark about anything going on.
Well, we know RLCS has started every single time in March-ish.
Right.
Qualifiers in late February and March, and then the season starts mid-March to June. That's usually the season. So,
yeah.
At the very least, I would expect that.
It's just like the time in between that though, from now to there. Like all we know for sure is E-League. Like there might be, I guess, another DreamHack event, maybe.
I would love a DreamHack event. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I could.
Dude, I had so much fun with Sathy and Trevor in Germany. That was so fun.
Yeah.
None of us knew what the hell was going on. It was so funny. I think we got stuck at a train station waiting for a taxi for like an hour. I was like the sickest I've ever been in my life. I was looking at Sathy and I was like, dude, I feel like I'm gonna die. We were like in the middle of Berlin somewhere. I had no idea where we were. That was really fun. Then Sathy lost his luggage. Oh my god. Dude, we had to go to Lefsana, and the girl at the Lefsana desk, when Sathy and I were like, yo, we lost our luggage, the girl was like speaking German to us. We had no idea what she was saying. And I was trying to help Sathy like fill out this paperwork, and it was in German, and it was just it was a mess. It was like a hot mess, but it was also like something looking back on it was really fun. Plus, we were so close to upsetting teams that tournament. We were up 2-0 on Method. I think we were up 2-1 on Flipside. Couldn't close it out though.
Oh man.
Feels bad, man. But yeah, dream hacks are always fun. I just love seeing everyone from the community.
Yeah, I that's what I love about lanes in general. It's still weird to this day that people know me in person. I don't know why, but
What?
No, like why I find that weird. But no, just being able to like interact with the community and seeing them all come together, and
yeah,
that's always fun.
Yeah, I was super sad I missed LAN this season. It stunk, but
true, but it did work. I feel like it helped. I feel like that extra practice that you guys put in helped. I was really like debating, because it was something I was thinking about, because you guys weren't there, Rogue was there. Wait.
Rogue was the only team that went, as far as I know.
Yeah, Rogue was the only team that went. Oh snap! Look at this. What is this?
Yeah.
2 days ago? They might actually have another DreamHack then. Oh yeah, one of the guys who produces DreamHack events said soon TM. Thanks to Alsteto's tweet. So there might be one.
A Rocket League guy? Hell yeah, dude! Let's go. Where are we going? Barcelona?
Right? Oh god, not Barcelona. Anywhere but Barcelona.
What's wrong with Barcelona?
You know what happened with the people in Barcelona who were like trying to get me to fly out there for like 7 months, and then they were just like, "Oh, we can't get your visa in time." That's why I don't want to go anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not the city's fault.
That's true. I should still go.
The city looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I just like to go different spots. My dream destination is Rome, but I don't see Rome having an arena for Rocket League, so I don't think that's happening.
That'd be dope, though. Like, could you
play
Rome
be sick.
Utopia Coliseum in an actual Coliseum or something like that? That'd be lit.
Yeah. Yeah. Anywhere in Europe would be amazing.
That Leipzig hotel.
I don't really want to go to a U.S. place. I mean, U.S. is cool, but
you've been all around at this point.
It's Europe, you know?
Yeah.
You only get to travel so many times. I want to just go as much as I can.
That's fair.
Plus, I speak Spanish, so...
Really?
I'm game, yeah.
I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
Mm-hmm. I took 5 years of school in Spanish, or 6 almost. I was fluent, but I'm not fluent anymore because when you take time away from it, it's hard to remember exactly.
Right.
I need to take another course in it to refresh, but yeah, I used to be fluent in it.
Okay.
Now I just know, I can understand it, but it's hard for me to respond.
Okay, I feel that. They're talking about the Leipzig hotel, Monka S.
Oh yeah, I think that yeah, I was just about to say that. Sathia. So in the bathrooms to this hotel we were at, it was like an opaque wall. It wasn't like a wall, it was like opaque. So that when the light came up you saw shadows, but it showed shadows, it didn't show nothing. So like you could see the outline of someone when they were in the bathroom. It's just weird. It's weird, man. It was like in Washington D.C. You remember those showers?
Oh yeah. Because I went up to the rooms. Yeah, I remember that.
I had 2 people staying in my room with me. One of my girlfriends and another friend, and it was like I didn't know the friend, and he was in there, and I had to like shower, and it could basically like see through the shower.
Yeah, I was in.
So I was showering while he was like right there on the other side of the wall.
And he was just like,
Yeah, it was awkward, but listen, I had to get up and cast. Gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Oh, God. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But
yeah,
that's not something you want to see every morning. Or maybe it's something to do. Who knows? You know, I feel uncomfortable.
See my body every morning? What are you trying to say, Daz?
I'm not. Can we move on?
Whoa, are you serious? Okay.
What? No.
Yeah, I think we should just keep going.
Okay.
Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's not. Let's mock us. We gotta mock us our way out of here, boys. So, are you one of those players who like actually listens to music when you play?
Yes.
What do you listen to? What's your playlist?
Emo, Circa Survive, or Panic at the Disco, or it depends. Usually it's emo blasting music, like rock music. Kellen Quinn, that type of music. Bring Me the Horizons.
You listen to a lot of jazz too, right?
Yeah, I have Frank Sinatra on sometimes. Just depends what I'm in the mood for.
Okay.
It's either Frank Sinatra or emo music, which is kind of weird. But like I have such a broad taste in music. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, because hearing you say that, and then I'm sitting here, I'm like, we've definitely like compared hip hop artists at some point.
Yeah, I like hip hop too. The only genre of music I really don't, or I'm not in love with is country.
Yeah, I hate country.
But I can get down with Taylor Swift sometimes. So.
What games do you play when you're not on Rocket League?
Nothing really. Sometimes I play Overwatch with my friends. That's it.
Oh yeah, you're a sweater on that game too.
Yeah, I am. I like, I don't know. I don't really play games. People ask me this, they're like, are you a gamer? My answer is pretty much no. Like, I purely play games for competitive reasons. Like, I don't really play to have fun. What's fun for me is winning in a competitive aspect. So.
What do you do when you cool down though? Like after like the session's done? Like, do you like watch Netflix or go out or like what? How does Karma like I guess like unhook herself from the game?
I call one of my girlfriends on Discord or one of my friends. Just kind of hang out, talk, meme about shit, or we watch a show together or a movie on Discord.
Oh, that's fun. I can see that. So moving into, have you really thought about like?
That's true.
Wait,
Trevor says she doesn't unwind; she watches replays. That's pretty factual, actually.
Oh my god. I lost my train of thought. Oh, moving into this next RLCS season, are you guys going into this with the mindset of just we need to prove ourselves, or is it just like that same kind of confidence you had in the rival series?
Oh, we're making LAN for sure.
Easy.
Yep. If we don't make LAN, it's a disappointment.
Actually, I think that was like on Stax' tweet. Like he made a bold prediction tweet, and he was like, "All right, bold prediction for 2019 without knowing anything. Splyce will make LAN."
Hell yeah! I gotta get Nan in the LAN auditorium seats, front row, and my mom.
Easy. I can
Easy peasy.
So no one you're necessarily worried about. No teams that are just like shaking you up. Just we about to do this.
If we play our game, no, there's no teams that worry me. If we play scared and we're not playing how we're supposed to, then we're in trouble. But I wouldn't put that on other teams. I'd more put it on ourselves.
Okay.
I think if we play our game, we're really hard to beat. We're beatable for sure. It's hard to say though. Like I've never played in the RLCS, so I'm talking smoke really. Or I have, but I only played one series. So I don't know. I think you ask anyone on RLCS, they'd probably answer you the same way I am, which is
if they're on their game, then
well, maybe not that, but more like we expect to make LAN. You know, like previously we have to been top 2. Not only that, we had to have been top 4 to qualify to get to top 2.
Right.
Making top 6, that's easy. Like what? We have to win one weekend out of the year? Okay, that's fine. In RLRS, you have to win every single weekend. There's so much more pressure on you.
Oh, man. Yeah.
In RLCS, you just have to have 2 wins. Like, Ghost was 2-5, and they had a chance to go to LAN. So.
That's true. So, thoughts on that? Do you think... What's your ideal Rocket League format? We have so many different talks about. I wish we had this. I wish we had that. Our rival series is like hell, basically on Earth for Rocket League players, even the play-in, so to speak, and this, that, and the other thing. There's so many different questions on how people would have done things, and how would you have done that? Well, I'm gonna give you a second so to think about it while I ask chat. We're reaching the near end of the stream, so if you guys want to have any questions you want to throw at Karma, now would be a good time. What are you thinking? What do you want to do?
Format? I don't know. It's not something I've really thought about. Because I think from a viewing perspective, that the way they do it is actually good. Like, every series matters. And as a viewer, that's kind of amazing. Because it's kind of like the NFL. You know, you don't want to be... You want to kind of be like the NFL, in my opinion. Which is low amount of games. The games that are played are very important. And it gives people a reason to watch, and there's not too many of them, so it's not too long. You don't want to be baseball, where there's 182 games, and you can miss like 100 of them, and you're still fine. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go down that path where there's just oversaturation. You want to be kind of in the middle. So I think there's just not enough teams to do what I want to do. But what I would want to do, I think, ideally, is create divisions of the RLCS, maybe like the Atlantic Division and the Pacific Division. And then, based on where the orgs are, they could pick like a city or maybe not,
like
whatever.
Overwatch?
Kind of, yeah. And there'd be divisions, and you play each team in your division twice, but you play every team from outside your division once. Something like that, where I haven't really thought about this. I'm kind of going off the riff right now.
Okay.
But, like, you could play each team in your division twice, and then you play teams outside your division once, and then, like, if you finish first in your division, that's like finishing first place, and you automatically make LAN, top 2 or whatever, and then the bottom 2 teams play each other, and then... It's hard to explain. But it's, like, set up a division system where you play some teams more than once.
Okay. No, I hear it.
That way you get rivalries, you know? If you get rivalries within divisions, and then you can have player banter, and you also do play the teams from the other division, but it's just not as common. Right. And then you can have like big matchups, important weeks, stuff like that. And divisional wins matter more than cross wins, cross division wins, stuff like that.
No, that'd definitely be dope as well. I know MLD does something similar to that with the way that their network is set up. They don't necessarily... I would like to see from them more of the, like, I guess, player interaction. It's already a little bit rough for them since everything's online. But if they could, like, if they could, like, tap into that, because I'm always for, like, the whole reason that I have this show in the first place is because I'm for just, like, that whole, let's talk about the players. Let's talk about them, who they are, what they do. Because a lot of people don't know players, right? It's usually, like, if you're casual in Rocket League, it's, let's look at the subreddit. Let's look at Twitter, and let's watch the Rocket League stream. Some of them might not. Some of them, if they have a favorite player, they'll go to their favorite player stream. But most don't know more than that. So what I want to see from, like, the major broadcast is just kind of stuff like this, kind of like what I do, but shorter and, like, more condensed, I guess.
Get more player stories.
Yeah, exactly. Like, get stories. Have RL eSports. Like, you know how Splyce sets you guys up with your interviews and and stuff
the
like
NBA
that.
does a really good job of that.
Right, and they have, like, the NBA will have, like, a little sit down. We got a chance to sit down and talk to this person, and you'll have, like, a guy who looks like me in a suit, like, tell me about your passion for the game. And then the player's like, oh man, you know, ever since I was a kid, and da-da-da-da. You know, I want to see that in our broadcast, because it would just give people more insight and perspective. All they see is, like, octanes and dominances on the field, and then
for sure,
and then a guy making an emo tweet after he loses a series. Like that, that's literally it. So
yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be more player profiles, player storylines, team storylines. I think that Rocket League is kind of a bit stagnant in the player personality department. Like, I think that a lot of teams or players need to be unafraid to like show their personality or maybe say things that are borderline in terms of like banter or opening up and giving people a little insight as to who you are and what drives you or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of the times in interviews it's just like one word answers and there isn't really much personality shown. I think there needs to be more of that, more personality, more banter, more storylines to follow. I think Rocket League needs more of that.
Because I mean, it makes the series and the games worth more. Also, just having that knowledge about players behind them. But I could go on a rant about this all day long.
Yeah, you could, for sure.
Let's see. We can answer a couple questions from the chat real fast.
Okay.
So Nobody is Special asks, what's your biggest fear from putting all your time into having a career in esports?
I think I kind of have an irrational fear that there'll be nothing after I'm done playing. I think that used to be a rational fear. For sure. I think that before, when like 3 years ago when esports was first trying to become established, that it was kind of looked at in like, yeah, you become a player and then what? There's nothing really after. Right. But I've been approaching this always thinking after. I know what I can do now, and it's going to take me time to get to where I will be or want to be. So I have time now to think about what I want to do after. So I've been working on like what I want to do after for years, even though I've been working on what I currently work on. So I have a plan. Or at least I think I have a plan. So that's kind of the scariest part, is not for sure knowing like, oh, I have a job after this. That's kind of scary, but that's like the risk you take when you work on your own and you're pursuing entertainment or the arts or like whatever you want to look at this industry as. Right. That's the scariest thing I would say. But I think now that esports is established, it's pretty clear cut that if you want to have a job afterwards and you do things proactively while you're like thinking towards the future, I think that you shouldn't have a job or shouldn't have too hard of a time finding a job because the industry is growing so quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And for those of us who have been in it for so long, and you take your opportunities. And networking, something I know you do very well from seeing people you hang around.
What's that mean?
I mean, all I'm saying is when I go to gamers,
I saw the eye roll there.
There was no eye roll. Where was that eye roll? All I was saying.
Insinuating?
I'm going to tell you. when I was at Gamers for Giving, and then Jimmer invites me out to dinner. And I go out to dinner and I see you at a table. It's like you, Axeltos, Walshy. And I see Walshy and I'm like, is that Walshy? I'm like, and he's like, yeah, we're really cool. And da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, Walshy's a homie.
Right.
We're Overwatch bros.
Right. I see you guys streaming playing Overwatch. And I'm like, what?
Hell yeah.
I was just like, okay, all right. I get it.
Yeah, XQC used to be a homie too, but I don't talk to him anymore.
Oof. Meeting Walshy was sick. Myth was there.
Yeah, Myth was there too.
And you see what I'm saying? Like those,
it was lit.
Making those connections and stuff like that. Like it matters in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, I'm not gonna go into a bit like when you.
I'm not making friends with them because of their connections. I just kind of enjoy them as people. Like I love playing like Overwatch with Walshy because he's fun. He's funny. He's like, he just sits on Road Dogg. He hooks people. He gets all hyped and like he doesn't really know the game. And I think it's fun. He's just fun to hang around.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of always how I've approached network. Like, I hate networking. I think it's so stupid. So I just try and hang around people I like. And if, it ends up leading to something, it leads to something. But I've never really enjoyed, I don't know, networking is.
I don't like the purpose of it. Because it's literally, you're like, basically like you're faking friendships. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fake person.
Right.
I'm a brutally honest, probably way too honest person. So ask anyone in Rocket League, they'll probably tell you I'm way too honest. So
that's facts. You've saved me from a couple of tweets.
Yep. Don't be a dumbass.
Anyways, Strangers had asked earlier on in the chat, should RLCS matches go to best of 7 for everything?
I think so. Yeah. I think best of 5's too quick.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like game 1 against Allegiance, nerves the entire way for both teams, and you can see it, right? Imagine if that was a best of 5. Game 1's nerves and you throw like we do, and then Allegiance throws back, so we take game 1. And then you're still nervous game 2 and you make a mistake and now you're down 2-0. Well, if you're down 2-0 in the best of 7 where there's tons of pressure on you, it's okay. You know, you can relax, bounce back, and you start to get into the groove of things by game 3 or game 4. But if you mess up in a 5-game series and you come out nervous and you're down 2-0 already, the other team's in the driver's seat. No pressure on them. They just have to win 1 out of 3. That's easy peasy, you know? So.
Yeah. And then he makes a point.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he just makes a point to where, like, he says that it's weird that we don't have a standardized match length, you know, and it just basically means, like, there are so many different tournaments to where the format's all over the place. Like, some tournaments have, like, best of 3s, some semis, which are best of 5s, and then maybe the grand finals might be a best of 7.
So you're talking about even communities best of 7 too?
Well, his question was for RLCS matches in general, but, like...
Yeah.
I think, like, he's also talking about something that should be, I guess, like, a standard for everyone. You know what I mean? As well. Just, like, if you are running a community tournament or maybe, like, a monthly or something where you have, like, top teams, either whether it be Rival Series, RLCS, whatever. Oh, wait. I'm talking league play matches should be best of 7s. CSGO finals are all best of 3. I don't think standardized length is a problem. And all sorts of eSports series differ. I feel like, yeah and no. Only because...
Yeah, CSGO finals are best of 3 because they have a best of 16 or 32.
Yeah, their games are
of
literally
course,
an hour long.
Trevor, that's not even... Oh my god, my team has like 10 IQ. It's not even equatable. They play a best of 32. Of course, not going to do best of 32, best of 7. Jesus God. I can't handle that.
When the mid-tourney games are best of 1. Lol. I can see everyone's kind of perspective here. Yeah, community is probably going to be all over the place. Chicago was a best of 5 grand finals, and that could have run for like 6 hours. Oh, for IEM.
Yeah, length is a problem. Broadcast length is a problem.
So do you think they're too short or they're too long for Rocket League?
Again, I can't. I wish I had like broadcaster information, because like I said, I'm very business oriented in terms of my thinking process. So you don't want to become baseball. Baseball is a problem. There's too many games. It's oversaturated market, and it kills its viewer base. I think Overwatch League is eventually going to run into the same problem. The Overwatch League is on for like 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, right?
Yeah.
So people are just going to get sick of it. There's like you tune in, you watch your team and leave. So I think RLCS is trying to I think they have the right idea. Find the right amount of games and then find the right amount of broadcast time. I think they're getting close. I would like to see kind of a little bit longer broadcasts. I don't think that they're on for enough time. Like the RLCS is only on 2 days a week for 4 hours. On average, I would say 2 days a week, like 4.5 hours. I wish it was like 2 days a week, 12 hours. And then you tune in and you watch when you can, and you tune off. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me to support what I'm thinking, so it's hard for me to comment on it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I don't know. I feel like I think as the season progresses, the broadcasts get longer. So like
that's true.
Playoff broadcasts will be a little bit longer, and you can fill in that extra amount of time with like interviews and stuff like that. You know, the things that we can actually highlight, because then it goes to the World Championship, and those broadcasts could possibly be longer. Especially if you're gonna do like World Championship best of 7s all day long. Yeah, you're gonna have a longer broadcast. So Um,
I
and
don't. How long are league broadcasts usually? Do you
I
know?
thought they were like
Or
4.
CS:GO ones?
Oh, League. Oh, League is on goddamn all day. Like they're on all day long.
Oh, really? Okay.
I want to say they.
Once a week though, right?
No, because they have the EU League of Legends too. It's kind of like ours where we have a NA and an EU one.
Oh, so it's 2 days a week.
I want to say so, 2 days a week, but they have a ton of content. Like they're all over the place. They have pre-shows. They have
Yeah.
they'll like where we have a countdown timer for 30 minutes. They have a pre-show with the countdown timer like on the top corner of the screen, all small. And they're like, yeah, well, instead of having a timer, we're just gonna talk for that time and fill you in with all this information.
And they have like 24-hour streams of their previous matches leading up to finals, stuff like that.
Yeah, with the World Championship, there was they literally just like had a broadcast on the entire time leading up. So if people missed anything the day before, they were able to catch up.
Like I think 6 hours is ideal, because you can start stuff when people are settling in for the night, and it's just on while they're on the computer at night playing their own game. Like that's the ideal thing. And then they pay attention when their team's on. And then they keep it on in the background while they're playing other games, and they keep up with it that aren't their favorite teams. Kind of like the NFL does. Like they're on 1 day a week, but they're on like at night mainly. Their big games are Monday night, Sunday night. I think the RLCS should do that type of thing where it starts at like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time, something like that, and runs till like midnight or 1 a.m. Eastern time. And is like taking up like 6 hours of that like end of day, people are home on their computers type thing, instead of starting at like noon Pacific time. The problem is you want to include Europe, but Europe has their own day, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But there's a bunch of things to consider. It's really tough.
Yeah. I agree with the 6 hours. The way I can see it planned out, obviously that first hour, so you got the 30-minute countdown timer, that can be filled with content. Then you have the 30 minutes that they're going to talk before match 1. Then it's seemingly after that, it's just like, especially, I think that might actually work. Because especially if we're going to move to, or if they were to move to a best of 7 format, then the day will be longer anyways. It'd probably move from what I think is like 4-hour broadcast to automatically like 6. With that,
I mean, if we're talking ideals, I think we should be in LAN.
Well, yeah.
And there should be like,
in a perfect world,
player content put out there, storylines made, stuff like that. In a perfect world, that'd be great. But that's extremely expensive. So
yeah, that's fair. League of Legends has a lot more money than Psyonix does, so they're
able
to pull that up. For now. Changes are on the horizon. I think if I can make a bold prediction for next year, it would probably be we move to 1 World Championship, and they'll probably call it the 2019 season. I think that's really what I'm feeling. I'm feeling it. Like
I get an RLCS, and they take away half of my opportunity to win again.
Make you grind the whole year? Oof.
Yeah, 50% less odds in order to win.
Oof.
Of course. That would be my luck. Instead of having 2 lands to qualify for, now I only get 1 land to qualify for.
I'm sorry. Maybe my format isn't the answer, but I don't know. It's just
I could see that happening as well.
With the addition of Sam, there's like a lot of different things that are like there are questions that people want answered, and we won't know until we see the posts, and that is that at the end of it. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, Karma, thank you all for joining me on this episode of Discussions with Daz. Karma, you've been a delight. It's always a pleasure to
Thanks
chat.
for having me.
Thanks you for coming. I'm glad we finally got this one done. But
hell yeah.
Guys, you can follow Karma at Karma TV on Twitter. And most of you have already come from her stream, but for those who don't know, you can follow her at Karma 2 on Twitch. It's a different name. I think it's like more A's. And
yeah, it's complicated. Just follow my Twitter and I'll tweet it out.
Easy. I'm
trying to farm. I have to get more followers than Mystic.
I have to get more followers than Stacks.
He's above me right now by like 3K. And that's unacceptable.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah.
I wish I had more followers I could give you, but I don't even have 3K followers. Rip.
We gotta get Daz above Stacks, so follow Daz.
Easy. We'll get it one day. But for all you guys who have come in late, this VOD will be on YouTube. So just follow me at iDazzer and I'll tweet out when the VOD goes live. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We are going to look for someone beautiful to host. And in the meantime, let's see who's going on.
I want to look.
All right. That's fair. Who are we gonna send these peeps off to?
Beautiful is the requirement?
Huh?
Beautiful is the requirement?
Where are they? Can you link me?
No, I said, is beautiful the requirement?
Oh, is beautiful the requirement?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta be gorgeous.
Okay. Definitely not Lawler.
Rip.
Grills? Or... There aren't many grills. There's only a few grills.
Yeah, there's Nito.
There's a guy named J Bizzle Beard. That's my rap name, J Bizzle.
J Bizzle Beard? Oh, I see him. Easy. Oh, he's got the helmet on? We're doing it.
Hell yeah.
He
has a helmet on like Jake.
Oh,
Jake wears a helmet sometimes.
Oh, he's not. He does it. He's not wearing it, but I think his Octane still has the Viking helmet. We'll send you guys off to him. But thanks, guys, for joining us on this episode of Discussions with Daz. And I hope you all had a good night. Peace! Bye!